larping. It this trend online. I'll be honest, what it really exposes is there's a lot of miserable people out here. LARPing obviously is when someone is playing a exaggerated version to connect with a vulnerable audience. Hence this loser epidemic. We'd all know the guy who talks to a camera that plays the loser. No one wants them. The world sucks. They will never financially do shit with their lives. It's always doomsday type of content. And although there are moments where even, I can feel that way at times, but I'm pretty optimistic for the most part. I'm pretty realistic. There's a lot of criticism with people that do this type of content. You could call it the philosophy space, the unsolicited advice, the free think, the deep thoughts, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's all the same. People are seeking connection. People want to hear somebody to either criticize or they want to watch somebody to connect with. The problem is you can be down in life and not be a loser. It's possible. People think just because life's going against you, you gotta be in this loser type of woe is me, the world is fucked mentality. And that type of extremism is always gonna make people feel something. The woe is me type of content will always have an audience because it makes people feel something. It's easy to fall into the trap of the LARP, quote unquote. But I'm going to be honest with you, it exposes miserable people because when you do content like this and people watch you all the time, they don't want you to actually do better. They don't want you to elevate from recording in the woods or recording in your basement like Jett franzen. God forbid if for a summer you did really well on YouTube and you decide to actually just experience life, go on vacation, still do content. Do one of the biggest podcasts in the world, Modern Wisdom. God forbid if you actually reap the fruits of your labor. You post daily stuff for a bunch of people to resonate. Make quite a bit of money. God forbid. But no, people want him to stay in that basement. They want him to stay in that misery because it gives them an excuse to feel the same with somebody. And as much as I like doing this content, I will have to say, I think you got to be careful. And I always say you should not be watching this stuff every day. You should not be watching the same stuff, the same person all the time. There may be phases where someone they're speaking to you. It's something you need to hear and it gives you a little bit of just clarity. But if you're still watching my content, if you're still watching Jett franzen, you're watching all these guys that just speak about dating and life and kind of the how society operates and your thoughts on it. If you are constantly seeking that confirmation from somebody, you will never actually do anything worthwhile. There's a fine line. We have this obsession with mentorship, with life advice, because it just makes us feel better. But it doesn't require action. It doesn't require how are you going to apply these things into your real life application. For example, I'm pretty clear about my life situation. This is the first time I've ever recorded in my car because it's raining outside. And I made surrounded my whole day to where I was going to do exercise, go work out and stuff, and I was going to record and make a lot of videos today because I have a lot on my mind. It could have been easy to just be like, it's raining, I'm just going to put it off. I'm like, no. I say that because we have this obsession with the LARP term. And if you are constantly falling for people, let's just say hypothetically Jett franzen has it doesn't live what he preaches, right? Let's say the guys that you watch, you find out, then you complain they're out of touch. When they start going back and going against a lot of the stuff they say. Or they start making money and they think, wow, the audience that gained them their fan base, they actually don't look at you guys in a positive light. They really think you guys are gullible and you're losers. And they played a loser aspect because anytime you can give somebody an excuse for why they're not good at something, you always have a subconscious way to point the finger. You should not be watching people talking to a camera all the time. I post this stuff pretty regularly. Sometimes daily, sometimes a few times a week, depending on how much I gotta say. The goal isn't to just flood the algorithm, and it's kind of affecting my algorithm. Because I've been inconsistent with how I post, but at the same time, I'm not going to feed into a portion of life that's not authentic. And the issue with people that obsess over seeking this authentic, real content, per se, is when you seek truth in your eyes, when you seek desperation of information, when you seek, worst of all, something you're not sure about, you can be easily manipulated by yourself. Because you haven't really put in the time. You just want to hear something to make yourself feel better. You want to feel better about your life. It's a distraction. Ironically, a lot of this content, I designed it to bring value to people. But the reality is most people will just use that as a distraction, and they'll feel better about something just because they feel seen. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't make to where you watch people and you listen to people and you take that as law and you take that as this is real life. This right here is not real life. This is just, I'm just another fucking guy in your algorithm. Most of you probably never heard of me, will never come back and watch another video, and that's okay. I'm just another cog in the machine. I'm not special. That's what you gotta realize, like, these people giving you this information. No one is special. We all think the same shit. But the point I wanted to make with this video is Jett Franzen made a video, and I'm using him as an example because he's probably like one of the bigger people doing this stuff. And there was someone else I watched, they made a video talking about this larping and how it's getting exposed that most people aren't really what they preach. They talk about how hard it is with women, but then he's this attractive 6'4" young guy or whatever. And yeah, but just because you have those features, that doesn't mean that you don't have certain qualms about things. You're allowed to have thoughts and opinions about shit. You don't have to sit there and be like, I'm so privileged because I have a great job. Like when people, we have this weird thing, and the weird thing with this parasocial stuff is people just want you to be grateful all the time. We look at athletes, we look at musicians, we look at people that get famous from doing online stuff. And they should just be thankful and shut the fuck up. You're not allowed to complain a single aspect about life and your job because you make great money or you have such a great job that you get to just record when you want and you whatever. It's like, yeah. I mean, that would be great. Doesn't mean there's not things that come with it. It's the entitlement. Ironically, we seek this type of content to resonate and build community, and all it does is it creates more entitlement of the same stuff that people complain about through people that do a more professional medium that separates the I'm just like you content. Like when you watch certain big podcasts, like if you watch like an Andrew Souls podcast, there's no time and place where he pretends that he's just like you. Doesn't mean they may not say stuff that's true, but when you watch certain people, they don't, I mean, they may try to pretend to play the game, but at a certain point as time goes on, they're not living the same life as you once people get money. But that doesn't mean they don't have value to bring. We have this weird, where once you become successful at a thing, that the audience feels like you may manipulate it, when the thing that made them that money was that you resonated with it. There was something real about it. Now look, you have criticisms that people are profiting off the trend of this authentic content that I've made videos about. You know, now there's bigger creators trying to capitalize on the authenticity, where it's just them talking about life. It's definitely starting to become a thing. Right, and someone talking to a camera has always been a thing, but now there's more of a advert reason for it to become a thing, because there may be actually some real money in it. And seeing a guy that no one's ever heard of blow up in 8 months and then be on one of the biggest podcasts in the world, that pisses people off, because it shows that, man, like, it feels like the audience feels used. When in reality, it just exposes that you want the people that make these videos to be miserable their whole lives. That's what the audience wants. They don't want people to actually elevate. They don't, and I hate that term, that's so cringe, but they don't actually want to see people better their lives. They want people to make these woe is me, no girl wants to fuck me type of videos all the fucking time. And the reality of how dating is fucked, and how back when my parents met, you had the quarter woman with a handkerchief, how come it's not like that, everyone's out to get you, and it's, you want to live in that world where you can always have an excuse and point the finger. So you blame this philosophy, this content that you consumed that you thought was just a guy making you feel seen and authentic. When in reality, you want the illusion that people are going to just sit there and stagnate their whole lives. You should watch when a video resonates, when the topic resonates. You can watch the same video 2 days after I post it, a year, 5 years. It should still have the same resonation. That's the beauty of this type of stuff, is the evergreen, quote unquote. It's not about profiting off a trend. It's profiting off a thought that a person had in their head. But now really we're just making ideas based off what the algorithm will reward, if we're being honest. And I know I haven't completely just talked about larping, quote unquote, which is a weird term. I feel cringe saying it. I don't feel like I'm the generation to talk about larping, where someone is playing an exaggerated version, really, of who they're not, because they know what people will actually resonate with. Because it's not cool being like, hey man, life's great, you're just being a little bitch about it, Most people turn away because it comes off as brash. It reminds you of, if you were bullied or something, or reminds you of being picked on or being told that you're not good enough. And the reality is that no one cares. No one wants to hear that. People always want to feel like they're being seen. But in reality, these videos, they should just make you feel more clarity. It's not supposed to fix your life. Maybe it's a moment, you watch a video and it completely changes and it puts you in the right direction, but you shouldn't watch a video of one of us assholes recording this and completely think, oh man, this person changed my life. That's very unhealthy. You gotta learn that this stuff, like, as much as I love for the comments to be positive and like, man, you just said what's on my mind. Like, I love that. I do this, not to toot my own horn, but I do this for the right reasons. But I would rather people slowly stop watching my videos if it means their life is actually better. But most people, they don't want you or their lives to get better. They just want to consume stuff all day and pray and hope that one day shit will just fall into place. So really, The audience is the one LARPing, not just the people you watch. Meep meep.